right, folks, there's been a delay because of COVID over the last couple of years. I missed my last Temagami trip in 2020 because of COVID. Now in the picture you'll see here a new boat. This is Shanty Sanctuary, my new purchase. And I'm out for a 2-week trip on Voyageurs National Park up near the Canadian border in Minnesota. And we're going to test all the systems over a 2-week period. Previously, as you know, I've rented houseboats and other boats around the country. But this will be the first time that I'll be able to trailer in places that I want to go on my own. Okay, just to orient you in the park here, the red line across this chart is the Canadian border, or the border between Minnesota and Canada. And the box that I have there in green shows where I'm at on this first leg, first day. I went into K15 is the site that I went to. This next chart is a Google Earth chart showing the track from the visitor center up to Long Slough, where I'm at for the evening. It was about 3.9 miles. I averaged about 7.1 knots, even though I had trouble there. You can see the squiggly line by the visitor center. That's where I had some engine issues before I was able to get up to Long Slough. The next chart is an avionics chart, and that's the one that I use on my tablet when I'm navigating on the lake. It shows the track in yellow and gives you some helpful depth information on that section of the lake. And last but not least is the Avenza map that I use. That's for the park. And it has a lot more detail showing where the boat sites and campsites are located, as well as relative depths and so on in the terrain. So it's a very helpful chart to have that you can access. There is a fee for it. I forget the cost, but and then there's a short video following here to give you some views of the K15 site itself. All right, here's the first night in the Boundary Waters on Voyageurs National Park, and we're moored for the night after much trouble getting here. Not so much on the water, but just after I launched, the motor didn't produce water. Some kind of insect had plugged up the hole, so it took me a while to figure that out. And then as I moved down the lake, the engine started running odd, and it wasn't getting enough fuel. So I messed around. The bulb had collapsed. I messed around, and finally figured that the fitting, it wasn't solidly in there, and so it was creating a vacuum in the hose. Instead of pumping gas, it would just collapse the bulb, so it wouldn't do anything. Anyway, I got it fixed and got it running, although I still am not sure it's 100%, but at least I got here. So this is my first evening, first time tied up with the stern ties like we do up here in the rainy area in Voyageurs National Park. So pretty well set up. They've got steps going right up to the boat, so I can almost step. I didn't have to use my ladder at all. Walk down the beach here, and you can see they got the steps here, and so that really helps. And then across the way there's called Long Slough. That's the name of this site, and there's a Long Slough in the back side of this campsite, so it might be a good place to see a moose. Nice beautiful evening, quiet. So far the bugs aren't out. I just saw a few flies and bees, but nothing too terrible. It'd be a good spot to see moose if they're around here.